Okay, this is Lamont. Lamont is not looking at it. Just doing a microphone check. Is this thing on? Okay. Is this thing on? Okay, so there's a pretty significant delay here. It's not the best sign. What are you doing over there? Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights, good to see you. So I had a couple of videos I was going to try to take a peek at here, but there's a bunch of weird stuff going on right now, so I don't know if this is going to work out or not. Just give it a second. I don't want this guy to get his headlights out of my face. Alright. Ask and you shall receive. Hello, welcome everyone. Yeah, there's a couple pieces I wanted to look at briefly, especially this one, Hanko Flamio. So his debate, one of the reasons I was interested, aside from the fact that I just, find his an interesting personality, but he is apparently planning to. He has said he has a scheduled debate with Forrest Valkai at some point later on this month, I think, which is just amazing. I can't believe they must be paying Forrest or something. I can't believe he's actually going to be arguing with that guy. Regardless, so. Somewhere in here, and I'm not sure where it is, so we'll probably speed up and skip through. There's just a short thing that he said that I wanted to replay on here.
Out of the cash cow and get it over with. Like, I don't want to.
Oh wow, that started pretty quickly. So
Forrest Valkai.
Me.
Which sounds like a great.
This is of course this is from the Thinking Atheist, I think.
Game of Thrones name.
Thank you. That's what I was going for.
The hero we need, especially after season 8.
The hero that we need to save the series, right?
So you agree? I mean, just a digression, but you were as disappointed.
Oh, it was awful. It made me not want to watch the new House of the Dragon thing, because I saw how much they just phoned it in for that whole last series, just trying to, milk the last drops out of the cash cow and get it over with.
Hey, Sci-Fi Sit Dan, good to see you.
Like, I don't want to see what else they do now,
Well, yeah, the problem is that when I express my displeasure, some people are like, well, it just didn't end the way you thought it would.
I thought it would end well. Yeah, I thought it would be good.
So no, maybe it's more about
get through the Game of Thrones.
By the way, spoilers
here.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on. I have no sympathy for you. She just keeps looking like she doesn't say anything. She's like, well, it's almost like it'll work out.
The person who's been.
What your area of expertise is. All right, fine.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So I usually just say I'm a biologist because it's much easier than getting into the nitty-gritty details. But I have degrees in education, general biology, integrative biology with an organismic concentration, which we can get into what that means if you want, and liberal arts, which I got that degree because I had a bunch of extra bio credits that just went there. And now I'm a graduate student studying bioanthropology, which is the biology and evolution of our species of humans. So I'm a biologist. I study evolution and humans, and by extension, human evolution. So sometimes I'll use the word evolutionary biologist because that is one of my specialties, or I might use bioanthropologist, but more often than not, I just say biologist, educator. That's what I do.
Good luck with that business card, man.
Yeah, just a million years. You can go into more detail too on some of the stuff that I'm qualified to call myself. You could call me a zooarchaeologist.
So like deep human biological research, right? Yeah.
Or a paleoanthropologist. Just add on all these different, you know what I mean?
Just stuff. But you are a teacher. You're an educator.
I'm an educator.
You're also an educator. I got your YouTube channel, so I'm browsing some of your stuff. This is back, and I saw this what, the secret science of the Bible clip that you had been addressing.
Yeah.
It's like a Bible code kind of thing?
Yeah, it was a dude who wrote to me on Twitter demanding that I like drop everything and buy his book about how evolution isn't true.
He also has a series called shit. I'm drawing a blank now. Yeah, he hasn't. I don't know if he's done one in a while. But it's like a debunk series. It's
The
really
Bible is proof of God and all this stuff. And I explained to him, politely.
Reacteria, as it's called.
I thought that nobody owes this dude time or attention. I'm not going to do this. And then he started like spamming every post that I was even mentioned in with like this YouTube video that he put out proving that God's real and evolution isn't with the Bible because there's all this secret science in the Bible. And the secret science of the Bible was stuff like that there are laws of physics because it says in the Bible that there's like natural law, and that proves that God must be real because there's no way that people knew that there was like order or patterns around them until the Bible was written. And like it was just madness, dude. There is no real notable science in the Bible.
Or the Egyptians. Leno, have a conversation.
Oh yeah.
This is not original thought. I've always been struck by the Bible code types. Because you think about the sadist figure out, right?
There you have to do this weird, complicated dance. It's like, imagine if me, like if I get hired to go out into schools all the time. That's my job. I go to schools and libraries and colleges and universities and I give big talks or workshops, something like that. That's my main job. Imagine if like every fourth or fifth of those, I just taught that plate tectonics isn't real. Or that the moon is actually literally made of cheese. And I taught that to children. And just like, but if you look at it, if you really read between the lines, the actual science is there. I wouldn't be hired again. It would be madness. But you have this dude that made the whole universe and laid down the exact rules of how to not be burned for all eternity. And that's got to be this tricky, fiddly little thing that you have to interpret correctly and decipher right. Like, what a shit job. Why? Who would do that? Why? That's madness.
So evolution, biology, you do a lot of this type of stuff.
Yeah.
You've done a Google search and typed the word evolution in, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure,
and
yeah.
seen how stacked it is, right? I mean, I type evolution into Google, and it's all of these creationist or ID intelligent design sites that have done the meta tags or the, whatever you call them. Evolution news. Like I log on, I'm reading evolution news, and it's an ID.
Yeah.
It's an anti-evolution website, right? So you bumped into this kind of thing?
Absolutely, because that's the last desperate attempt that these people are making now to remain relevant, is they're trying to sound as scientific as possible, and they're trying to use scientific principles and scientific ideas to discredit all of science. And when they find some science that almost sort of sounds like what they want, then science is the only way to do things. But when science says something they don't like, then all of science is discredited and not believable, and it's all, it depends on who's paying for the funding, paying for the grants, depending on what you come up with. But when it's a creationist research center, then they are the most objective, unbiased people in the world. You can only trust them. It's madness. It's just them trying so hard to convince everybody that the best thinkers in the entire world are all wrong, and they are the only ones that have the right answer. And also they are humble and biased.
Yeah, right there. All right, we're gonna check this out. I don't know if I've seen this caller or not. Likely I have. Popped into my feed, and I thought it would be worth taking a look at.
Well, I'm calling from Australia.
Oh, great.
So,
Whereabouts?
So you're in Adelaide, Australia.
Ah, the one town that I didn't get to go to that everybody wanted to go to. We did
Yes.
Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, and Perth, and the people in Adelaide were like, "Why didn't you come here? We have more churches than anywhere."
Yeah, that's right. So I listen to your videos. I think you guys believe that. Obviously, you believe in evolution as being factual. So I just wanted to know, because you know how you believe that.
Did you just say factual?
Earth was created billions of years ago.
Well, I don't believe it was
All right.
created, but go ahead.
Well, it came into form billions of years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this is older, 2016.
The
I might not have yet started watching by this point. 9/11, 2016. Wow.
Earth is, 4.5 billion years old, roughly?
Yeah. So how can someone observe that?
Well, there wasn't someone who observed it. It is the evidence from that we assess. So in much the same way that I didn't observe my grandmother being born, but I believe she was born, and I believe she was born roughly in the year that she tells me. She might be a little bit off.
So you guys believe billions?
The question seems to be, how does science come to this conclusion? Well, there's all sorts of different lines of evidence, right? We can date rocks based on radiometric dating, and there's all sorts of independent ways of confirming that.
But Darth Dawkins says radiometric dating is bullshit.
There is for evolution. There's things like DNA. There's things like the fossil evidence. There's things like the geographic, how evolution appears in islands and these sorts of things, and gives us little laboratories for how things work. And all of these things independently point to the same answer. And so the evidence adds up, and it's very strong for these sorts of things.
But you believe that evolution happened millions or billions of years ago? Like, say,
Evolution is ongoing. As soon as there was life, there was evolution.
But isn't this like
evolution continues all the time.
Like one creature evolved from another creature millions of years ago?
If you have,
and yesterday.
Yes, and yesterday. Do you have kids?
Yes.
Okay. Do they look exactly like you? Are they clones of you?
Well, they're not clones, but they have similar features.
Similar features. So they have some features that are the same and some features that are different, right? So they're different.
That's
So
right, yes.
over time, there can be lots of changes that occur over time, right?
Okay. What I don't understand is if you're like, because that's what we've been taught in school, that one creature over time evolves into another creature.
No.
We can't observe
It's not
that.
like
That's just,
it's evolution describes the change in species, not like one individual. It's not like, hey, there was one giraffe and it gave birth to a dolphin. Evolution doesn't say that that's the case at all.
Hoven.
Instead,
if I'm correct, then evolution. Oh, sorry, keep going.
Instead, what evolution talks about is the observed fact that over time there's changes in allele frequency and changes in the DNA that result in different features, and so the change is a fact. The theory of evolution by natural selection is the model that says that the driving force behind which ones survive and which ones don't survive is the natural order at the time and place that creature exists. And
Perfect.
so what we end up with is not a ladder of this turned into this turned into this, but a tree where we are related to cousins on other, like we are apes.
Right.
Human beings are apes.
Yes.
The common descent. And the branching thing is a big part of it, because you can have species
And we're
that branch
also loosely related to bananas.
off, and some of the descendants resemble the original species for millions of years, but some of the other descendants go off and look differently or have different evolutionary pressures, because of being in a different environment, these sorts of things.
Yeah, like you've got a Chihuahua and a Great Dane, and they both are related to wolves because wolves, or a wolf ancestor, is the ancestor to both wolves and Great Danes and Chihuahuas.
Yep. Okay. Well,
And there's still
Matt,
wolves.
have you ever seen a dog produce a non-dog?
it takes forever to talk about, but can I just ask you, what is your opinion on the platypus?
On the platypus? I'm not familiar with models that describe platypus evolution.
And what does this have to do with
Well, that's what I'm
atheism? Our belief,
Is it platypuses or platypi?
our lack of belief in God has nothing to do with evolution.
Well, I thought because you have such a strong belief in evolution, I thought because you don't believe in a God, I thought it started.
No, evolution is a
I
big
have
threat to theism,
faith in evolution.
because if evolution is true, there was no Adam and Eve, there was no fall, and there's no reason for Jesus to exist. It's all just gory performance art. So evolution is a big threat to Christianity, but it is neither here nor there for
If
atheism.
we found out evolution was wrong, like if we found out today that everything in the model that we have for evolution turned out to be wrong, that still doesn't tell us anything about whether or not a God exists.
But
I
don't you
think I made that exact same point
because a
yesterday.
platypus is a mammal, bird, and a reptile.
No, it's
That
not.
at least proves that. Yes, it is. A platypus is a bird.
No, it's not a bird.
You are
It is a
mistaken.
it is a
I'm sorry.
duck-billed mammal. So not only do you not understand the basics of evolution, but you don't even understand the species that you called in as the gotcha. It's a duck-billed mammal. And duck-billed is a description
Yes,
that doesn't make it a bird.
It's also a reptile. It's
no.
not reptilian.
Sorry.
Yes, because the male has fangs.
Okay.
The male has poison.
That's not the characteristic of reptiles.
So you think that the definition of reptile,
I'm saying-
you think that the definition of reptile includes the male has fangs?
So saber-toothed tigers are reptiles.
I tell you
guess.
what you need to do is go to some of the many great websites that actually describe and teach evolution. Like there's one from Princeton as well. There's also one, Just a Theory. You can actually get biology books that go through and describe this. I bet if you Google platypus evolution, you will find a number of articles on people giving you actual detailed information. But the first thing you probably need to look up is this something called speciation, about one species turning into another, because if you don't understand what that is and how it works, then all the rest is just window dressing.
Well, I have researched the platypus evolution.
Another fascinating thing I was thinking of earlier was like the way that like in your guts, like you have this whole like microbiome, right? So like there's like whole like parts of you as an organism that aren't technically human, right? Like you host like a bunch of like bacteria and just like weird shit, right? But like it's symbiotic with you, right? So how does that happen without evolution? Like you just like cooperate with other organisms, but you don't evolve to do that. Like
Look it up on the internet. but I
like
couldn't
physically, like
find any valid reason to believe that it evolved.
You don't find any reason to believe that it's evolved.
Well, I don't know where it evolved from to what creature, because it's a mammal and a bird.
Sure. So the thing here is, you just said you don't know.
I want to introduce you to the
Fuck
amazing
off with
group
you,
of
fucking
individuals,
add you,
young
Church of
adults,
Jesus
typically between
Christ
the ages of 18
.org.
and 25.
Cool. How would
I love how that happens to me all the time now. Or the Jehovah's Witnesses they're advertising.
you find out?
I'm saying I did my research and I couldn't prove that. So if you can tell
Are
me,
you a biologist?
my research-
Are you a biologist? Do you have any
No, no,
expertise? Do you have any expertise in biology at all?
No, nothing. I'm just.
So because you
I'm just a normal
were
guy.
unable to come up with an answer on an area where you have no expertise, your conclusion is it isn't evolved and therefore God?
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is I did a bit of research and I couldn't find any evidence. So I'm just asking you, do you have any evidence?
Why are you calling an atheist show to ask about evidence for platypus evolution instead of talking to fucking biologists?
That's okay. No, that's okay. Don't get angry.
No, I'm not angry. I'm just pointing out how silly this is and how I do not believe that you're actually being honest at this point. Because somebody who cared about the facts of evolution, the cornerstone of biology, somebody who cared about what do we and don't we know about the biological history and the evolutionary history of a platypus would not call into an atheist show in another country with two non-biologists to get the answer. Anybody who thinks like that is either dishonest in what they're actually seeking and trying to find, or horribly confused. Because I'm not going to call your grandmother or my dentist to ask them
But you're
about
in luck because Forrest is now working with the ACA and he's a biologist.
platypus evolution. I'm going to call Richard Dawkins and P.Z. Myers.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen them in person. Well, I understand. I just wanted to.
Well, you know what? Until I had been to Australia, I'd never seen Australia personally. Did that mean it didn't exist? Or that I was uninformed?
I
and
subscribe to both Darth Dawkins and P.C. Myers.
lacked sufficient evidence.
But not for the reasons you may think.
What you are personally unable to discover tells us nothing about what the truth is.
Oh no, I'm not trying to. I just wanted your opinion. I thought you would have more information, but that's okay.
No, because I'm not a biologist, and my atheism is not
That's fine.
is not based on evolution.
Okay. Can I just say something about Jesus?
Sure. Okay. So we have gone over time, but I will let you say something about Jesus before we close out the show.
All I wanted to just tell you is that you know how you guys, people say that there's no grave of Jesus Christ, or he wasn't buried.
Jesus fucking Christ, do you really? Okay, well I guess we'll see.
I don't know what people say.
You said it when you're like, you know how people say, or you ask people where's Jesus' grave?
I don't know that I've ever asked anybody where Jesus' grave is.
The evidence for historical Jesus is kind of weak, but we don't care. What matters is the supernatural claims, and the evidence for that is crap.
I don't think I've ever asked anybody where Jesus' tomb is because I was a fundamentalist Christian for more than 25 years and was studying to be a pastor, and I know that we don't know that. So why would I ask?
Okay, I just wanted to tell you that. Well, no, you have asked, like, you asked some caller and he didn't have an answer.
Asked who?
I thought you wanted to know. You called only one of your shows, some caller, was talking about Jesus Christ, and you said in other question that, where's he buried? And then he went quiet. So I thought.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Where his grave was.
I don't remember that, but perhaps it happened. What is it you wanted to tell us about Jesus?
Well, all I wanted to know is because I'm Muslim, so we believe that Jesus did not die on the cross.
Okay.
And we believe he's buried somewhere.
Okay. Why do you believe that?
Because we believe that he's buried in India, in Kashmir.
Well, when I ask why you believe something and you just tell me what you believe in more detail, that's not a why. Why do you believe that Jesus is buried somewhere? Because I'm not even convinced that Jesus ever existed.
Is that what Lutherans believe? Believe that Jesus was buried somewhere? Hold on, let me write this. Let me write this in my notebook. Jerry. Jesus was buried where?
Although he may have. But you're convinced that he's buried in Kashmir. Why?
Kashmir?
Well, the reason we believe is because in the Bible he was when he was taken down from the cross, and then he was given the ointment on his body to heal himself, and then he went to his disciples, and after that he migrated to other places.
Okay.
Like,
I've asked you why you believe this, and you keep telling me what you believe. Do you not understand what a why question is?
That's why I believe it. I believe because
No,
Because
that's
the
not why.
Bible says so. Yeah.
But Matt, why do you believe in evolution?
So the Bible doesn't say Jesus went to Kashmir. It doesn't say he migrated anyway. What the Bible has to say about Jesus is that he died and was resurrected.
Oh,
and
like
visited
the
people.
Led Zeppelin song, Kashmir. I get it.
And then he ascended into the sky. Unless Kashmir's in the sky, you were getting nowhere near the why of what you believe. You're just talking trash. Yeah, I mean, this is the thought process that undergirds almost every religious discussion I've ever had, and that includes with Muslims, with Christians, with Hindus. Anytime you try to get to the meat of why they believe what they believe, they just tell you more about what they believe. Oh, here's why.
Because they don't think about why they believe things, right? Because that's they just believe, and they're taught to believe, and they believe since they're children, and all these things, and that's a terrible reason to believe.
Yes, it is.
One more?
It's funny. No, because we're over time.
We're over time.
It's funny because nobody is satisfied when their parents say, because I said so. And yet seemingly every religious person I've ever met is immensely satisfied with because I said so if the I in question is their particular holy book or some supposed expert that they were brought up listening to. Because I said so, because I said so. Go do your damn homework. Do your homework on evolution, do your homework on your religion, go do your homework on your particular religion and
Well,
the
it's
other
charisma, and that's precisely the reason why, you're popular, Matt. I'll say, like, regardless, like, like there are certain people that are able to convey whatever message they're conveying, with a certain sense of confidence that makes the people who are listening believe what they're saying, like at face value, without really, So it's the same tactic, and I could see how that criticism is valid, because like in this instance, you're not necessarily like citing sources either, right? But you have a compelling confidence in your argumentation style.
I wish comparative religions courses were mandatory. I don't want them to be electives. I wish they were mandatory in public schools because when I sat through my comparative religions course, I can remember as a Christian sitting there going, man, these people believe bizarre shit.
And
but not me.
That's what you
Yes,
should.
you too.
Yes, you do.
And everybody else who was sitting in that class was thinking the exact same thing. This belief is bizarre. How could they possibly believe this belief is, who could seriously believe this? And the thing is, there were representatives of most of those beliefs in that classroom, all thinking that about everybody else. Now, this show's been on for 19 years or so.
Yeah,
I've been hosting for 11, 12, whatever the hell it is now. I don't plan to stop anytime soon. We're probably going to keep going. I don't think religion's going to go away anytime soon. But you want to know what might make religion go away? If we took all the religious people in the world and put them in one place, let's go with South Carolina, because that's what the Christians wanted anyway. And then you guys sit there and talk about why, not what you believe, but why you believe it, and have this discussion amongst all of you. As people walk out of South Carolina, I predict, without a dream, they're going to be non-believers. They're going to finally realize that, hey, that old thing about, I'm an atheist, that, means I just believe in one less God than you do, or in case of Hindus, several less gods than you do. But as soon as you realize, and there's another old quote, when you realize why you don't accept the religions you reject, you'll understand why I reject yours as well. That's the key. So go to South Carolina, hash it out, and then when you're done...
But evolutionism is not actually a religion. Like, we just say that, in jest, to agree with this strange folks who like to say that. But it's not actually factually accurate, It's not factually accurate either. Was there, oh yeah, no, that's the other thing. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here then, and maybe I'll do another thing later. All right, yeah, good to see everybody. Bye-bye.